garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, gardening in Zone 5B in the Chicago suburbs, and I'm picking up where I left off with my last video of planting ranunculus. It's the same day. I'm moving on to the next bed, which is Iceland poppies. I also want to get some sweet peas that are back there around that trellis in the second bed over. So a lot to do, but first, I have a soil issue. Before we look at that, I do want to show you these Iceland poppies up close and personal because they're beautiful. I mean, look at that. Luscious green foliage. They need to get out of this tray. I've got pastel mix from Floret and also sherbet mix from Floret. And then over here, I have one champagne bubbles. This seed was from last year or the year before, and obviously it didn't do well. So make sure you use your Iceland poppy seeds the first year you get them, but oh, thrilled with this. So here is my soil issue. If you look at this bed, I cannot even pick it up. It is so hard. And what this is on top is the compost mixture that I ordered of 2 yards of topsoil and 4 yards of mushroom compost. Now that topsoil I am finding is pretty clay-like, which is a bit frustrating. But this bed was rained on, and the other beds I actually did put cotton burr compost on top. This one I did not because I was going to plant right into it because I wanted to get those in the ground, and the cotton burr compost I had put in before this compost came in. But you guys, I can hardly pick it up. Look at this. This is not what I'm going to plant in. No good. Now I did dig up at the end. Let me show you this. If you come in at the end and really dig down, then you can see that cotton burr compost is in there, and this is what the soil should be like, or the compost should be like when I'm planting in. But as you saw earlier, and even down here, most of this bed is not like this. So I'm going to go through and turn all of it up to try and get some of that cotton burr compost on top, because this is going to be much better for them being surrounded by that than stuff I can hardly even move. So that's the first thing we got to do. For your reference, this is what the other beds look like with that cotton burr compost right up on top. You see the difference? It just falls. Even the part that was rained on, really still nice and loose, great aeration, totally different. Ah! So bad. So here's the situation now. It is definitely improved, but I just don't think I can fit one of my favorite cut flowers, Iceland poppies, that I've been growing for nearly 4 months into this without being superb. So I'm going to add a layer of Espoma land and sea compost and then also some biotone starter fertilizer before I plant them, just to have a nicer, nutritious top layer, because they deserve it. All these lumps that are super hard I found in there. We don't want those. Those are going in the trash. That's much better there. Now for these, I'm going to do about 4-inch spacing. I did 6 last year, if I remember right, and there was a lot of space in between them, and I'm trying to pack my beds more this year so I can have more harvest and more product. So 4 is what I'm going to do, 4 inches spacing, and we're going to rock and roll. I just got to get my fertilizer down there, and we're ready to go. Now I lay my drip tube down and staple it down with landscape staples. Now it's time to officially plant, so I'm going to go 4-inch spacing. Like I said, last year 6 was too much, and get these in the ground by variety type. We'll start with champagne bubbles first, the solo runner. I got to get a knife to help me get these seedlings out. Using that butter knife, slides it right out. Look at those roots. Nice and healthy, but definitely ready to get in the ground. Sherbet mix from Flora is next. Now we're on to pastel meadows. And as I'm going through these and planting these, I'm simply cleaning them up a little bit. If there's any yellow leaves, I'm going through and taking those off. If there's any broken leaves, I'm going through and taking those off, just so that the plant is sending energy to really nice, healthy foliage. Also, if the roots are a little bound like this, I'm breaking them up just a little bit so they're not as bound and can really spread. So far, I'm really happy with the health of these though. They're much bigger than what I put in last year. Coming out to the front raised bed, there's my bed of Iceland Poppies. Here, so I suspect they'll take off even better. So I've gotten them all in, and they're taking up about half the bed. So what I'm going to do is pull an audible and fill the rest of it with my ranunculus here and see how they do up here versus the back. But these are both really cold hardy. And I do have this structure set up to be a little hoop house if I need it. So that's what we're gonna do. Here we go. All right, they're all planted in here. A lot of them had growth on them, but very small. So that's why you don't see much, but they do have growth down there. And then some are also really tiny, as you can see. And some aren't showing at all, but they're in there in that pattern. And I think they'll be a nice pair with this Iceland poppy up here. Now I can put plastic up on this to keep them warmer during really frigid nights, but so far we're looking pretty good. I probably will tonight, just since they've been transplanted. But I'm happy with this. Now, on to these. Now I'm on to sweet peas, and I'm starting to lose light, and my camera battery is about to die. So I will probably meet you back here in the morning after it's finished, but I want to go through the varieties. We have Mr. P, Restore Mel, which is my favorite. I grew it a couple years ago. It's a vibrant pink reddish color. Love it, love it. Molly Realstone, Jeff Hughes, super excited to try that one. And that's it. And I think those colors together will be really complementary with each other and also against the black background and the black trellis. I think it'll just pop here in the middle of these 6 raised beds and look really, really nice. So that is the plan. I'll come in here, do biotone starter fertilizer around the trellis, and then plant them, and they'll grow. The other thing I need to do is pinch them. So I can come in and pinch about to 3 true leaves potentially, but some of them are branching on their own. So I'll probably just do about 50%. I'll use this one as an example. There's about 3 true leaves there. So I'm gonna come in and cut that last one off. They are ready to get in the ground, that is for sure. The weather forecast also looks really good. It's not going to dip down into freezing or a hard freeze over the next week. So I'm probably going to leave these uncovered. They're very cold hardy, and it's just nice I don't have to cover them up. But I do have frost cloth if I get nervous, and I might. I start by sprinkling biotone starter fertilizer around the area I'm going to plant. I then come in, move back some soil, and stick the sweet pea down in the hole, ensuring that the roots are covered, and cover them right back up. And I finished before my battery died and before I lost light. Planted all around there with those 3 varieties, and this should really take off and explode on this trellis here. And that's a wrap on this video and for this huge planting day. It is April 8th, the official first day that I have planted today, and I've gotten all my ranunculus in the ground, all my Iceland poppies, and the start of my sweet peas. So I'm really, really happy and ecstatic about that. Also, pretty pooped. Pretty tired up in here. This right shoulder, because this is my planting hand, oh, it's feeling it. It's feeling it. But thanks for coming along. Comment below and let me know what you're getting out into your gardens, especially if you're in Zone 5B. And if not, tell me anyways. I love to hear from all of you. And remember to subscribe if you haven't yet to follow. And that's when my camera died. So it's now April 14th. I'm gonna give you an update. We are, what was it, April 8th when I did it? So several days later. Let's see what these sweet peas and Iceland poppies are looking like now. Let me preface, we're now at the time when it's been very hot here for this time of year in our area. It's been 80s the past 3 or 4 days, and these are cool hardy annuals, so they don't love those temperatures. So they're looking a little bit stressed, but I'll show you some signs that I'm encouraged by. Here are my sweet peas first. They're looking pretty good, nice and green. There's just a little bit of stress on some of the leaves. You can see that discoloring right there, but it's not bad. And spoiler alert, I have planted around it now. I've got feverfew up there, and I've got some Sahara rudbeckia and chimchimney rudbeckia. So you'll see me actually planting these in a video that comes out after this one. But I did want to give you an update while I hopped on here anyways. What I'm encouraged by is these have put on a decent amount of growth. And so I'm happy about that. That means that they're getting nutrients and are actually growing. These are looking pretty good as well. These, I can't tell their growth as much because, as you saw, I pinched them right before I planted them. But I have started to wrap them around the actual trellis on each side over here. You can see there's some points where they're attached, so that'll help them start climbing. Now the Iceland poppies I've been stressing about because they do not like warm weather. So let's take a look at those. Here's my patch of Iceland poppies. And while they could look worse, you can just tell they're a little stressed. Some of the leaves are flopping. When I put them in, you saw I cut off any yellow leaves. And if we look closer, you can see there's some discoloration, especially on something like this here and over here. But what I'm encouraged by is the inside of them. That's all new growth. Really darker green, new growth, new growth. So that makes me happy because they're pushing out a lot of new growth. So even if some of this foliage that's stressed falls off, I've got some, actually all of them I see new growth in that are really gonna push out new foliage, and I think they're gonna bounce back really well. So I'm super encouraged by that. Ranunculus are also looking good. I've actually got some that have poked through the soil now. Where is it? Oh, right there it is. It's very hard to see, but it's there. And also a little bitty one here. So they're doing well also. So that's an update on where everything is at now. And I've also planted other things, but you'll see those in upcoming videos. So stay tuned. As I was saying before I got cut off, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel to follow along with all things garden. I hope you get out in the garden today, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy planting, everybody. Bye.